and welcome. Thank you for being here with us. We're going to tell you all about this course here, Marketing Analytics, Strategies to Optimize ROI here at Berkeley, University of California, Executive Education. We're going to learn how to turn data into actionable insights to improve marketing performance. A lot in store here for you as we make our way through the session. We're going to learn how this course is delivered. What is that day-to-day experience like being a participant here? We're also going to learn all about what's in the program. What is the content? What can you expect to take away from this program? We're joined by keynote faculty experts and others here to tell you more about Berkeley, University of California and more about this program. We do invite you, as you make your way through the session, to reach out to us in the question and answer box. So you'll notice there's a Q&A box there. If you open that question box, you can submit your questions there. We'll continue to reach out and ensure that you get everything that you need. So thank you again for joining. At this time, I'm going to hand over the spotlight to Mike Riley, the CEO here at the University of California Executive Education. Mike, look forward to learning more about this program for you. Thank you for being here. I'm going to turn it over to you now.
Thank you, Marie, and good morning. From Berkeley, you're looking at the Campanile, which is actually technically known as Sather Tower. That is the iconic symbol of UC Berkeley, and really speaks to the incredible location of our campus. We are just across the bay from San Francisco, just north of Silicon Valley, the place, and just south of the incredible California wine industry, if you enjoy premium wines. UC Berkeley was founded in 1868. We are the original University of California campus. Today, there are 10 world-renowned universities and 5 medical centers that make up the University of California system, regularly considered the #1 public university system in the world. It all started here in Berkeley. So, for example, in 1905, Berkeley bought a farm outside of Sacramento that became our research farm. Today, that is UC Davis. In 1919, we launched something called the Southern Branch of UC Berkeley in Los Angeles. Today, that's UCLA. Incredible public university system across the state, but it all started here in Berkeley. We're really proud of that. Today, we have close to 45,000 students, not 40,000, about 32,000 undergraduates and 12 or 13,000 graduate students. We're about the same size as UCLA, our former Southern branch, in terms of the total number of students. The Haas School of Business, your host organization, was founded in 1898, 30 years after Berkeley was founded, thanks to the generosity and the vision of a woman named Cora Jane Flood. More specifically, Ms. Flood gave land and money to Berkeley with one condition: start the College of Commerce. And in those days, there really wasn't a history of studying business, commerce. Therefore, the Haas School of Business, as we're known today, was the first public business school in the United States, and the second public or private business school in the United States. The Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania launched their College of Commerce slightly before Berkeley did. Nonetheless, we're very proud of how long we've been pioneering this educational space. Today, the Haas School of Business is 6 degree programs and executive education. We still have that original undergraduate business degree that was launched in 1898. A master's in financial education, a PhD program, and then 3 types of MBA programs: the full-time, average age 27, the evening and weekend for working professionals, average age 31, and the executive MBA also for working professionals, average age 37, plus exec ed. All 7 of those programs are ranked #1 among public universities and top 10 among publics and privates. Some are ranked #1 in both categories. I share that because, well, for a couple of reasons. Firstly, everyone's obsessed with rankings, right? And it's just nice to be #1. Secondly, it speaks to the breadth and the depth and the quality of the business education we provide. Not many top business schools have that many degree programs. Stanford, for example, the Graduate School of Business, 2 degree programs plus exec ed. Harvard Business School, 1 degree program plus exec ed. So you get the idea. We're just very proud of how long we've been doing this and how broadly and deeply and how well we do business education. Last but not least, it's a nice way of saying you've come to the right place for your learning journey. So welcome to Berkeley Haas. Berkeley Exec Ed has a twofold mission, really, to have a positive impact on business and society through education, and to take the important work of our faculty, the critical work of our faculty, beyond the traditional boundaries of the university, which is exactly what we're doing with this program, bringing it to you virtually, primarily virtually. Exec Ed, on the next slide, you'll see that we have various types of programs. Online has become, thanks to the pandemic, our most robust portfolio of offerings. This program, Digital Marketing Analytics, is one such example of many, many examples. Many of them are in partnership with Emeritus, including Digital Marketing Analytics. Open enrollment, historically, those are 2 to 5 day programs offered in person on campus in the areas of leadership, entrepreneurship, strategy, and finance. We virtualized our entire portfolio once we had to, and continue offering our open enrollment programs both in person and virtually, sometimes blended. Last but not least, our custom programs. It's actually our largest vertical. We customize learning journeys programs for companies, governments, and university partners. The Certificate of Business Excellence. If you enjoy this program and would like a deeper relationship with UC Berkeley and the Haas School of Business, consider the Certificate of Business Excellence, or COBE. This requires participants to take 17 days as a minimum of our coursework, including at least 1 program in our 4 academic pillars: finance, innovation, leadership, and strategy. This program, if you successfully complete the program, would count for 2 of those 17 days towards one's COBE, and would satisfy the innovation and entrepreneurship pillar. Last but not least, the Haas School of Business is the business school most defined by its culture, according to our peers. And our culture is really shaped by our defining leadership principles. And there are 4 of them. We'd love you to think about these as you develop a relationship with Berkeley Haas. Number 1 is question the status quo. Doesn't get much more Berkeley than that, right? Beyond yourself. Confidence without attitude, and students always. By taking this course, you are already living that students always defining leadership principle, that insatiable quest for lifelong learning. So thank you for already exhibiting one of our 4 defining leadership principles, at least. It's now my pleasure to introduce one of our faculty directors for this program, Przemek Gazowski. He's been a professor at the Haas School of Business for the past 10 plus years. His research focus includes marketing analytics, which is why he's been such a successful designer and delivery faculty member for this particular program. He teaches in our MBA programs, marketing analytics primarily. His undergraduate education, both his undergraduate degree and his master's degree took place at the University of Arizona, and his PhD took place at the Stanford School of Business. And for those of you that know about our Berkeley's biggest rivalry, it happens to be Stanford. So we welcome Przemek with open arms to Berkeley. You've made the right decision to end up here. We thank you for all that you do. You teach, in addition to our degree programs, you teach a lot in executive education. Your impact is really important to our learners, Thank you for designing and delivering this program. And why don't I just turn things over to you, Shemek, and allow you to run through the rest of this session. And thanks again to all of you for joining.
Yeah, thank you, Mike, for this amazing intro and introduction. If we could go to the next slide, we're going to tell you a little bit about this program and the modules that we prepared for you. So this course is a class about using data to make decisions in marketing. So the course is based on my elective in the MBA program. So essentially, you're going to be getting a shortened version of what Berkeley MBA students obtain in their program. So the course normally runs 15 weeks. So it's a little bit longer and more in depth. So this is going to be a condensed version of that material. Okay, so what are some objectives here? So mostly I want to give you an introduction to formal models that incorporate data in marketing decision-making to optimize return on investment on a dollar. So in the modern world where data becomes a king for decision-making, so data-driven decision-making is essential for any organization if it wants to maintain to be competitive in the market. And without data, the return on investment in marketing, it's not going to be as good as your competitors. So what we're going to do is we're going to run through the series of methodologies that are workhorse methodologies in marketing for data-driven decision-making. And after you finish this class, you would be ready to take these methodologies and apply them in your organization. Okay, so this is a very hands-on course. It's based on the case studies and real data. So you're going to be receiving data during this class that you would be able to analyze yourself and receive feedback on that analysis. Okay, and as a result, you would be able to either be a member of a team in the marketing organization or be a manager that manages people that use data and is able to get the insights from the data and deploy them effectively. So if we can go to the next slide, I'm going to give you an overview of the modules that are available. Before I do that, the question is sort of who's the perfect recipient of the content of this course. So as I see it, there is really two types of people that would largely benefit from this class. So the first type of a person is a manager or someone in the management position that wants to incorporate data in their decision making. Okay, so let's say you already have some experience managing people, managing teams, or some experience in marketing, but you would like to go to the next level and introduce more formality and data-driven models in the way you make the decisions. Okay, so sort of like from management to data-driven management. On the other hand, another great recipient of this class is sort of a more technical person. Okay, so for example, in my marketing class, a lot of people that take it are actually not MBA students. They are students in the data science programs that have a very good grasp on the methodology. So they know the models from sort of more theoretical perspective because they learn it in like a computer science class or information management classes. However, what they really want to learn is how to take that theory and now apply it for business. So sort of what questions should I be asking? How should I be thinking about interpreting the results of these models? And how should I be thinking about incorporating that in sort of a more business environment? Okay, so they want to learn the business part, not kind of the model part. So this is really kind of two groups of people kind of meet together when they learn marketing analytics. So one group kind of goes from more business to technical, and there's a second group going from like very technical to be able to apply it to business. Okay, so it's really kind of a bridging class between the technology and sort of more classical marketing theory. So can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so the course is contains 8 modules. Module 1 is an introduction to marketing. So each of these modules sort of covers a topic that is sort of a building block for modern marketing analytics. So we're going to run through these modules, and in each of them, you would be learning kind of one model that is used to make a certain types of decisions in marketing. And these decisions kind of range from targeting, which is sort of what a lot of people think marketing is about, to segmentation, which is kind of dividing your customer population into sort of segments of similar people. Then we're going to talk about pricing, which is sort of, a lot of people don't think that marketing is about pricing, but actually pricing is a big part of marketing. So like pricing, discounts, what's the right price, how to choose the right price, so on and so forth. And then we're going to move into sort of more methodological sections like experimentation. So experimentation is something that has really taken off in the last 5 years. So we would be talking in depth sort of how to use experimentation to make decisions and so on. In the last module, we're going to finish off with kind of how to avoid mistakes. So sort of you learn all these models, and then the question is, are you when you apply these methodologies, how to anticipate and prevent mistakes? Okay, so we're going to talk in depth of sort of previous implementations of these methodologies and like, so what can go wrong, what can go right, and what to do to avoid the pitfalls. Okay, so sort of the limits of marketing analytics, because as every methodology, what we're going to learn in this class has its limitations. So it's, it's a great stuff, but it doesn't always work. And what we're going to try to do is to increase the number of instances where it works and decrease the level of mistakes. Okay, so now I'm going to go into more details into each of these modules and sort of show you, give you a flavor what these modules are about. So the module one is, so this is a necessary sort of introduction to marketing analytics. So what we're going to be talking about is something called the customer lifetime value. So what is a customer lifetime value? Customer lifetime value is a main metric by which marketers evaluate how much the customer is worth to the company. Okay, and why does the company want to know how much the customer is worth? So you can imagine that obtaining customers is costly, right? So if you want to get a customer, first you need to do something. You need to do sales, you need to do marketing, you need to do onboarding. So all these processes are very costly for the company typically, because you need to pay sales commission, you need to pay for advertising, you need to pay for an onboarding person. Now the question is, how much do you want to pay them? How much can you pay them? So lifetime value is a metric that allows you to assess, okay, this customer is worth $350 to me, therefore I can spend up to $350 in order to get that customer. Okay, so you can buy advertising, pay a salesperson commission, and apply similar methodologies. So what we're going to be doing with this lifetime value metric is we're going to be applying it across the customer life cycle. So what you see on this slide is the simplest model of customer life cycle. So you can divide the entirety of relationship of the customer with the company to these three sort of distinct stages, starting from acquisition through development and retention. So acquisition is mostly, okay, I want you to start buying from me. Development is, I want you to buy more from me. And retention, I don't want you to stop buying from me. So that's kind of in the simplest terms, these three stages. And we're going to be deploying the lifetime value metric at each of these stages. Okay, so you would be able to solve or answer marketing questions using that metric that pertains to each of these stages of the customer life cycle. Okay, so some examples include, let's say you want to apply the lifetime value to development stage, which says, okay, we want to increase how much you buy from my company. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be giving you, let's say, free shipping for our products. I'm going to say, we're going to offer you an exclusive deal of free shipping. The question is now, how much this action increases the value of the customer to the firm? Because obviously it has costs, right? Because someone has to pay for shipping, and typically it would be the company. And you can say, well, it's going to cost me $50 to offer you free shipping. The question is the value of the customer increasing by $50? If it's not, well, that's not a good thing to offer free shipping. If it is, well, then you'll start making money. So this is sort of the cases we're going to be doing in this first class. Okay, and that metric is really a building block for any model that we're going to do next. because we're going to be using that metric to see what the impact of the decisions we're going to be making and methodologies we're going to be applying on the bottom line profitability. So it's really necessary kind of building block to move forward. So if we could go to module 2. So module 2 is that's where the class starts getting a bit technical. Okay, so what we really want is to show you real technology. So it's not going to be just hand waving and showing you graphs. We're going to actually do models with real data, because that was kind of the requirement for me when I started teaching this. I wanted it to be hands-on. So like I give you the spreadsheet, and you should be able to, in Excel, develop the model and get numbers that are interpretable. Okay, so we're going to be learning 2 models here. One is going to be the model called linear regression. So it's sort of the most basic model in marketing analytics. It's used for prediction. So you want to predict what's going to occur in the future. You would use linear regression to do that. Let's say I want to predict if I give you a discount, what's the likelihood you're going to buy the product? This sort of questions. Okay, now a second model we're going to be doing is a model called logistic regression. So logistic regression is a machine learning model, sort of the simplest kind of machine learning model that exists, but it's already very powerful. It's pretty much a workhorse model for most of the marketing analytics companies in the world. It's really the most popular model that exists. And this model is used to predict likelihood of events. Okay, so you want to see with what kind of likelihood the event is going to occur. Okay, so that's what the logistic regression is used for. So let's go to module 3. So in module 3, we're going to take a step back a little bit from the technology. We're going to go back to sort of more fundamental marketing. So this is going to be about segmentation. Okay, so what is segmentation? Segmentation is sort of dividing your customer pool into distinct segments or groups of customers. Okay, so why would you want to do that? Why do companies employ segmentation? Because segmentation allows you to understand your customer pool better. Okay, so let's say you have high value customers, low value customers. You have kind of local customers, you may have remote customers. So you kind of divide your customer pool into these groups. And when you do that, you can apply different marketing instruments depending on which group we're talking about. Okay, so if you think, for example, of local customers, maybe the right marketing tool for them would be a quantity discount, for example. Or if you have a remote customer, maybe the right tool for them would be a software, like additional software. So you kind of can tailor your marketing activities based on the segment that these activities are applied to, and that process is called targeting. So you target a specific segment by changing what you do depending on what's the most successful thing to do for a particular group of customers. And here, this is going to be based on case study of 2 companies. So there's going to be a case study about Charles Schwab, and there's going to be case study about Booking.com. So let's go to module 4. So module 4 is the most technical module of the class. So this is where things get really interesting. Okay, so what this module is going to be about is about building personalized targeting or recommendation systems. Okay, so what is a recommendation system? So recommendation system is a very popular marketing tool that is used by companies that sell many products. Okay, so if you're selling many products, what you want to do is you want to develop systems that help your customers make decisions about which products they want to buy. Because you have so many that you need to help your customers to make the best decision possible for them. And of course, for you as well, because if they are happy, then as a company, we're happy as well. So what are some examples of these kind of systems? So probably the most advanced and maybe well-known example is a Netflix recommendation system for movies. Okay, so you can imagine Netflix is a company that sells millions of products, really, right? Because they sell the streaming service, but if you think of every movie you could watch on Netflix is a separate product, then it is really a company that has millions and millions of these products, right? So now you could watch a horror movie, you could watch a comedy movie. And now different people would want to watch different movies. So now how are you supposed to browse million movies and choose the one you want to watch, well, you need help. So you need recommendations. So when you go on Netflix website, Netflix has built a system that analyzes your movie preferences and proposes to you the movie you're most likely be happy to watch. Okay, so this is the systems we're talking about. So what we're going to do in this class is we're going to build a recommendation system like this for an online bookstore. So imagine sort of simple version of Amazon that you go to the website and the website proposes you the next book to read. So you already read a lot of history books. So then maybe the recommender system is going to propose you a history book. Okay. So these systems are really kind of the pinnacle of marketing analytics these days. So we're going to be going really in depth of how these systems are built, and we're going to show you a working version of that system that you can actually build in Excel. Okay, and the real world systems that are like this, like Netflix or Amazon, which are probably the most advanced systems that exist, are just kind of what we're going to do on steroids. So the principle is going to be the same. It's just that the data and the software is going to be more advanced. But if you can build this system in Excel that we were going to build, moving to kind of a Netflix system is just going to be a matter of the data and the size of the computer you have, pretty much. Okay, so we're really going to go in depth there. And this is the most technical class, but I really wanted to show you something that is sort of cutting edge, state of the art, that you can get a flavor of sort of how things look in Silicon Valley and the companies that are really good at marketing analytics at Netflix. Okay, so that's the purpose of this class. So let's go to module 5. So module 5 is like, again, so here we're going to again take a step back. So it's going to be kind of more technical, less technical, and we're going to be kind of pacing it so that you get both business and technology here. So here we're going to take a step back and talk about pricing analytics. There's going to be a bit of theory, how to choose prices, how do companies decide how much to charge for a product, how can you use data to decide what's the right price. So we're going to have some models of pricing here, and there's going to be a couple case studies that showcase sort of how should we choose a product. For example, price for a product that was never sold. Let's say you're a startup and you have a new product that has never been sold. So do you charge $10 for that product? Do you charge $100 for that product? Okay, so it may be either price because it was never sold before. It's very difficult to just guess what the price will be, and there's going to be some techniques that we would learn in this class that would enable you to figure out in sort of methodical, data-driven fashion what should the right price be of a product. So this is really a key decision for many companies, because what happens sometimes is that the company has a great product, they have great marketing, great advertising, but the prices they choose are not right. And that's why the company fails, just because they, for example, underprice their product, and at the end they can't cover the cost, and they have to restructure, or maybe they're not as successful as competitors. So pricing is sort of one of the most important decisions you can make, and the module 5 is going to give you some principles and some technology how to choose the right price. Let's go to the module 6, please. So the module 6, I think it's one of the most exciting modules because it is a module about a topic that probably is the most growing and prominent topic in many of the companies. Okay, so this module is about experimentation. So what companies were doing in the past, they were kind of using the data to make decisions without caring about causality. Okay, so let's say you deploy a marketing initiative, you increased your advertising, or you lowered your price. What you really want to know when you do these things, you want to know what's the impact of these marketing decisions on some metrics you care about, for example, sales. Okay, so what the companies are doing these days, what really became really prominent, is using experiments to find out what the impact of these decisions is on the bottom line. Okay, so the most popular methodology that you probably heard about is called A/B testing. So what A/B testing does is that it compares the outcome between the two groups. So one group is called the control group, where the marketing initiative is not deployed, and the outcome in the control group is compared with the treatment group that receives certain marketing initiative. Okay, so the difference between these groups would be the impact of the initiative, because these groups are otherwise very similar, and one of them receives an initiative, one doesn't. So then we look whether there's a difference between them. Okay, so imagine probably the most well-known examples of this is something like testing of drugs, where someone receives a placebo and another person receives the actual drug, and then you can compare kind of mortality rates or any other metrics you care about between these two. So we're going to take that kind of clinical methodology and apply it to market. Okay, so that was a really big innovation, because this methodology is very successful in medical fields. So what we're going to do, we're going to take them and show you how to do it in marketing contexts. So there's going to be some caveats that you will have to that you will have to take care of. Okay, so it's not going to be so easy as to choose control and treatment group. There's going to be some things you really need to do right for these tests to be valid. Okay, and it's really easy to make a mistake. So the goal of this class is going to be to show you what's the gold standard of experimentation on a couple examples, and what's some necessary components of these experimentation initiatives that ensure the success and validity of the results. Okay, so like I say, this is the most exciting module, because a lot of companies have just discovered experimentation. So for example, Google or Facebook, they hadn't been doing this or probably for a few years, and it has been massively successful. Okay, so it has delivered these companies a lot of insights into what is working, what is really not working. So a lot of companies are super excited about this. So if you think like what's most exciting in marketing analytics, people would say machine learning and experimentation. So this module is going to be about that. So I bet you're going to love it. So let's go to module 7, please. Okay, so module 7 is it's going to be more conceptual module, so sort of less technology, more business. So what we're going to learn here is we're going to learn about digital advertising. So digital advertising is probably the biggest subfield of marketing these days. So I think over 70% of dollars in marketing are spent online these days. So what digital advertising is a little different than conceptual than regular advertising. So what we're going to learn in this class, we're going to learn about what digital advertising is. What are the types of advertising you can do online? What are the differences between these types? Okay, so what kind of advertising is good for what sort of products, for what sort of circumstances, and for what sort of companies? And we're going to learn how to measure the impact of digital advertising. Okay, so a big part of digital advertising field is about metrics. Okay, so how do we measure whether digital advertising campaign was successful? Okay, so sales is an obvious metric. Okay, so did it increase sales? Well, so that's obvious. However, the problem with using sales sometimes, it's a very noisy metric, okay? Because not a lot of people really buy. So most of the people that see the ad, they don't buy, right? So that metric is sometimes not sufficient for us to get enough insight into what's happening. And what digital marketing developed is it developed other types of metrics that may be better than sales. Okay, so for example, website visits. We're going to be tracking customers, how they use our website, which subpages they go to, why are they not buying, at which stage of customer buying process they stopped and why. Okay, so we're going to be very detailed sort of on measuring what is the customer doing and why are they doing this, and what sort of type of advertising can help us to drive the customer to guide them into the right place on the website and the right behavior that is going to lead to purchase. Okay, so it is going to be a more conceptual class. So we're going to be talking about these metrics. We're going to be a lot of definitions, examples. So after this class, you should be able to have an informed discussion about digital advertising and understand the language and metrics that are behind that. Okay, so that's sort of what is really the most challenging for this topic, and we're going to solve that challenge. So let's go to module 8. So finally, that's our final module. So this is the module that not a lot of students would like to take, because no one likes to talk about when things fail. But after this module is delivered, and I ask my MBA students, for example, what was your favorite lecture? Many of them say that the strategic outlook and sort of what can go wrong, what can go right, and limitations and pitfalls, this was their most favorite lecture, because they kind of think about these pitfalls that we're going to be talking about, and then they think about their experiences from companies when things failed, and thanks to sort of thinking about it in this framework that we're going to develop, it allows them to retrospectively look at the mistakes the company did and say like, aha, we should have done it this way, and that's why it has failed. So next time we're going to do it differently. So that's why it's sort of enlightening. And you think like, oh, well, I don't want to talk about how things fail. I want to talk about success. But at the end, somewhat surprisingly, students really love this section, because it really allows you to avoid big mistakes. Okay, so what marketers cannot really, what is kind of the most, the biggest determinant of success of a marketer? So for example, in my opinion, is avoiding big mistakes, because if you make a small mistake as a marketer, you can always fix it really quickly. So let's say you set the price and it was a little bit too high, well, you can always lower it, right? Or let's say you run a campaign that maybe was not the best you could run, but it was okay. Well, we can kind of improve it. But if you make a big mistake, let's say you'd really overcharge, or you run a really terrible campaign for some reason, well, these things kind of linger and they're very hard to fix. So I think if you look at kind of the CVs of marketers, those that were really successful is those that made a limited number of big mistakes. Okay, so all of them make a lot of small mistakes, but those really, really big ones are the ones that really can kill the company and sort of, your reputation. So this class is going to help you to avoid these. Okay, so there are some mistakes that are really avoidable. So I'm not saying you can avoid every big mistake in your life. All of us make big mistakes sometimes. But after this class, you at least would be able to do anything that you can to avoid it. Okay, so to minimize the probability of things going really wrong. So that's what we're about, because business is always about probabilities, because you never know what's going to happen, but you can kind of steer the world into one or the other direction. Okay, so that's what the module 8 is about. So let's go to the next slide, please. One of the important components of this class is, of course, we're going to have the models, we're going to have some theory, but in Berkeley, in the MBA program, what we really like to do is to have everything hands-on. So I say to my students, when you take this class, you really have to be prepared to get your hands dirty with the data. You're not going to be just sitting there and listening. You would actually have to open a program and look at the numbers and do some clicking and receive other set of numbers that you have to use for the decisions. And these numbers, in most cases, they're real numbers, because what we like to do is that we like to take the real data from companies that we work with or we worked with that shared with us data from real world problems that we can use for educational purposes. Okay, so you're going to have data from 6 companies here. So there's going to be Booking.com, Netflix, Rocket Fuel, Safeway, TRX, and Extrava. So what we try to do is we kind of try to make it across industries. Okay, so you're going to have anything from like more technology service-based companies, for example, like Booking.com, to kind of more subscription-based or even retail like Safeway, right? So we try to show you kind of applications across industries, both kind of brick and mortar and purely digital, and physical products versus services, so that you can see how the application of these models changes as we move across these different industries. Okay, so what the goal is that you can take these solutions, and let's say you work more in the retail space in the future, let's say something like Safeway or any type of retail, you could reopen that Safeway case later that you learned and see sort of how the technology was applied to Safeway, and then you can say, well, now I work, let's say, for Foot Locker, so there's going to be a lot of similarities there, because brick and mortar retail of physical products, it's kind of a similar application of methodologies than Foot Locker and Safeway. Okay, so that's really the goal, to give you kind of a broad range of example applications. So let's flip the slide. An important component that kind of closes this whole learning experience is a capstone project. So the idea behind capstone project is to solve an actual business problem from beginning till the end. Okay, so let's say you go through all these modules that we do. So you're going to learn some methodologies. You're going to see some case studies, which are kind of smaller applications of the technology that we're going to be learning. What we wanted you to do is we want you to have an experience of applying this methodologies from beginning to the end to solve the problem of your choice. Okay, so let's say you're really interested in streaming services, or you're really interested in sports or any sort of type of industry. Or something is closer to where you're working currently. It may be some a problem you have in the company or something close to it. So you're going to have an opportunity to develop algorithms and models that we learn in the class and tailor them to your application and solve the problem and receive feedback on it. So I think it's really great opportunity. And what's, in my opinion, the biggest benefit of this is that you would be able to fail without consequences. Okay, so when we apply these methodologies in the company, there's always consequences, something goes wrong. So what here you would be able to do, you'll be able to take it and for the first time do it from the beginning till the end, and then receive feedback on it to see sort of where you did really great and where you could improve a little bit, so that when you do it again in more kind of monetary sensitive situation, you would be able to do it better. Okay, so you kind of like learning by doing by doing this capstone project, and it's going to be more sort of a process of doing it for the first time and kind of feedback from our team that is going to tell you is like, look, this is, you did really, really well, and here, you may improve these parts so that next time when you do that, you would be able to do it perfectly. Okay, so students really love the capstone project because it allows them to kind of think through a problem that they're really interested in and receive feedback from the team that makes the solution perfect. Okay, so let's go to the last slide, I think, from my presentation.
Yeah, I think this is where we do that handoff here, Professor. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. So, so just to wrap up, I hope you had you have now a good overview of what kind of the academic part of the program is, and now I'm going to do the handoff to the rest of the team to talk about the program experience and sort of what are the components, actual components, different types of learning experiences that we will offer. For it to be to give you a great experience discovering this material.
Thank you so much, Professor Jaworski. We invite those of you who are with us to stay on. We're going to have some questions here towards the end where we can hear more from our course professor here. But we did want to highlight some of these more tactical components that really give you a good understanding of how this course is delivered and what that program experience will be like for you. So of course, these courses, really what set courses apart here, sort of as we learned at the beginning, as you think about joining UC Berkeley, joining this community, these courses really are designed to have you interact with your learning. So unlike a traditional classroom, there's only a certain number of seats in the room, a certain number of minutes to get through a certain set of curriculum. Here in this online world, we're able to break down those barriers of space and time and make this content deliverable to you from the comfort of your own home or from your own office. While you learn, you're able to apply your learning in real time as you keep your professional and family responsibilities. You're able to design a schedule that allows you to learn at a convenient time and at a pace that works for you. So the way that we're able to achieve all of this, really designing these individualized learning plans that meet your needs, is by creating this program to be the highest level of interaction possible and the highest level of convenience possible. So what you'll see is at the beginning of each week here, a set of content is released, and you'll see some of the icons here on your screen describe that content. We start with on-demand video lectures. These are brief 5 to 7 minute clips that allow you to gain these insights, frameworks, and methodologies as described here by our course faculty. From there, you're able to step away from those videos. Again, they're on demand, so you can watch them as many times as you need to around a schedule that works for you and at your own pace. Once you have a core grasp of those concepts from your faculty lectures, you'll be asked to go into a variety of these interactive, engaging activities here. So there are peer discussion boards, there are live webinars, there are office hours that are hosted with learning facilitators to help you really roll up your sleeves and again, interact with your learning. This is not a static learning environment or a massive open online course. Where you simply gain new information. This is a course that really challenges you to, again, roll up your sleeves and engage with your learning, apply it in real time, discuss your learning, and participate in a reciprocal learning environment where you're both contributing your skills, your knowledge and expertise, as well as gaining information. So there are triad activities, crowdsourcing, discussion panels, demonstrations, these case studies we learned about from our professor, peer reviews, knowledge checks, polls, assignments, reflections, peer readings, of course, this capstone project. All of these activities, you're able to take part in these activities, again, around a schedule that works for you. These are asynchronously designed to allow you to really tinker with this material and engage with it in your own pace. Some of the live components that are called out here are those live office hours, those live webinars, very similar to today. These live sessions are a chance for you to engage in real time and tailor your learning around what it is that you need, your goals, and your career advancement aspirations. So certainly a lot in store here for you as you think about all of the opportunities to gain relationships, to build your network. You'll see there's a live networking opportunity, a happy hour that we host, and a lot of other opportunities for you to engage with one another. So as we think about all the different layers of teaching and learning here in the program, we wanted to design a special slide to call out our learning facilitators. They're such a huge part of the success of this program, and they allow you to, again, create that individualized learning experience. So learning facilitators, they give you individualized feedback on your assignments. They're reading your assignments and grading them and giving you that feedback. They host these office hours, both the chance for you to get your questions answered and get help on assignments, as well as talk about what you're learning and engage in practical application that's tailored to you. So if you discover a niche area of interest you want to explore further, you want additional resources related to a topic in the program, come to office hours, ask your learning facilitator. They are here to help ensure that you get the most out of the program. A lot of communication from our learning facilitators. These are industry experts who have been selected by Berkeley Haas to come in and guide your learning throughout this program. So again, they're on the discussion boards with you and your peers. They're helping to drive engagement and push your thinking throughout the program. You, of course, have your course faculty. In addition to Professor Jaworski, who you heard from today, we also have Professor Zsolt Katana here in this program, as well as Clayton Critcher. So other faculty voices and lectures that you'll have a chance to hear as you make your way through the content. You'll build those relationships with faculty, with learning facilitators, with peers, and of course, with yourself as you gain those insights and continue in your lifelong learning journey. So in summary, these bite-sized segments of learning allow you to engage in an interactive and immersive way around a schedule that works for you at your own pace, giving you the full scope of understanding. You're not going to miss a beat here in this program. The time commitment's about 4 to 6 hours per week across this 2 month of content. You can design that. So you're looking across these 8 weeks and you are selecting the 4 to 6 hours that best works for you in your time zone and in your calendar. Any of the live components, the live webinars, the live office hours, they are recorded and they're put into the platform and made available on demand 24/7 throughout your time in the program. So if you have to miss a live learning opportunity, you're going to have that simulated live experience right there for you in the platform. Again, a high level of convenience, a high level of engagement and interaction. A lot in store here for you. We hope you'll join the program. We will be responding to your questions by email within 12 hours after today's session. So don't hesitate to let us know what's on your mind. Just submit those questions right there in the Q&A box. You'll see a link on your screen. And if you open your chat box, we're going to post a link there for you as well. That link will take you right over to the course landing page. There on the course landing page, you'll have an opportunity to do 3 things. Firstly, you can download the full course brochure. That's everything that we've described here and more. It's a beautifully designed and comprehensive overview of this program. If you're really conscientious like me and you like to read every detail, that brochure is going to be a huge value for you. So you can download that from the course website. You can also schedule an appointment with an advisor. Advisors can help you as you have questions about the program, the registration and enrollment process, financing options. We have a robust referral system. We have a generous 21-day refund policy. There's a lot to learn as you think about the financing and enrollment options. They can help you with those. And any policy questions that you have about access to the alumni community, or how do I earn that certificate of completion? What happens if I'm late with an assignment? These are all common questions that advisors can help support you with. So be sure to get a meeting on the calendar with a program advisor if you haven't done so already. And again, you can do that right from the course website. It's one click away. We use an app called Calendly. You select a time that works for you, and a program advisor will give you a call. Finally, you can apply for the program. So we hope you'll do that if you haven't done so already. There's a lot to look forward to here as you dive into marketing analytics and learn more about this topic. We know that the half-life of skills today is about 5 years. So that means the skills that help us succeed today will become obsolete in 5 years. That's the nature of this changing world and environment. So the lifelong learning journey, it's really up to each and every one of us as individuals to continue to upskill, to continue to learn. And courses like this at UC Berkeley Haas Executive Education are helping us to fulfill our mission of global lifelong learning. So welcome to this community. We're glad you joined here today. We're going to invite our professor back in here for any final words of wisdom. We do have that link there for you now in the chat box. And we also have an email address, berkeley@emeritus.org. So you can certainly email us any questions as well. So Professor Jaworski, I'm going to ask you to come back in here. This is a truly remarkable program. We're going to be closing out here, but I want to give you an opportunity, Professor. Any final words of wisdom or advice that you'd like to leave us with here today as we close out our session?
Yes, so thank you very much for this great overview of all the methodologies that we use to deliver this content. This is a really new world after COVID, where technology is aiding learning in a massive way, and it's a combination of in-person classes, recorded lectures, as well as office hours. So that's something that it has not existed 3-4 years ago. So this is really new technology, and we're really excited how it all came together and delivers content in ways that was impossible before. The closing remarks about this class is that, as I tell my MBA students, knowing these models is really not a choice if you want to be in marketing. Essentially, you're either going to use data and make data-informed decisions, or at some point, you're going to fail. Because if you use data and your competitors are not, eventually they're going to make a mistake, because they're not making decisions that are informed by what's actually happening. Okay, so that's why I think if you didn't have much exposure to these data-driven marketing analytics methodologies, knowing them is really a must to succeed, right? So there's going to be a limit beyond which you cannot go if you don't employ data in your organizations effectively. So that's why this class is such a popular elective in analytics, because people understand that they just cannot go and do serious marketing if they don't know how to use data to guide their decisions effectively, because that kind of limits to the gut feeling. And at some point, we do need to be informed. So I'm really excited to be able to deliver these methodologies in this format that is sort of a shorter format than an MBA program. And hopefully this is going to spur your interest in this field, and you're going to crave for more. So that's kind of my best hope here, that I'm going to make you interested in this, and it's going to allow you to kind of dive into that world in more detail, using some more advanced classes. So thank you very much for this opportunity, and I really encourage you to to take this class if you want to step into the world of data-driven marketing decision making.
Thank you again, Professor Jaworski. It's been a great honor learning from you here today. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us. And to all of you from across the globe who've joined in, welcome again to this global learning community. Thank you for joining us here. We hope to see you back in one of our programs coming up soon, including this one here, Marketing Analytics, using data to drive ROI. So certainly click on the link if you haven't done so already in the chat box. Let us know if you have any questions or if you have anything else on your mind. Thank you again for joining, and we sign off now with a heartfelt good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good day to all of you from around the globe. Thanks again for joining, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.